Welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Alex Kramer. It is now time to take a look at today's business headlines. For help with that, we're going to welcome global business consultant Hillary Fordwich. Good morning, Hillary. So nice to see you again. Let's jump straight into those markets. They closed split yesterday, and this morning futures are also split ahead of the opening bell. But let's get right into it. So DirecTV obviously dropping Newsmax from its lineup. Now DirecTV says it will fill the channel with new content. I mean, Hillary, obviously there's already been a ton of backlash over this move. What do you see the ramifications being for DirecTV from this?
Well, pleasure to be back with you again, Alex, this morning. Few things here. Yes, there's going to be some kind of backlash, mainly because, and it's not just Newsmax claiming this, it's just a really wild coincidence that the conservative networks, because OAM went through the same thing, are the ones that are no longer being offered by DirecTV. So don't we live in the country of the free? The backlash is going to be now, particularly because we have more Republicans in Congress. What about some sort of censorship? That's what this looks like. That's what this is alleged to be. And certainly, where there's smoke, there's fire. I think you're going to see a lot of action on this.
I completely agree. Let's talk about bad news for those sharing passwords. So Netflix has finally officially laid out a plan to bar free password sharing among users by the end of March. Hillary, they kind of teased this last fall back in October saying they were going to do it. Now they actually have the plan. How do you think Netflix customers will respond?
Well, they've been testing this. Netflix tested this in some countries in South America, Peru, Chile, and Costa Rica. Some of those are large geographically, but small in terms of users. And they really found that this is the only way they can grow. The problem that Netflix has, of course, is it's a saturated market. 74 million American households now have streaming services. So how can they grow? This is the way that they need to grow. They need to show a return on investment, a profitability to their shareholders, and it's a saturated market. And most importantly, looking at this on a macro level, when we're heading into a recession, a lot of households are going to be looking at which streaming services are we going to keep and which are we going to let go of. And that's what they're looking at. They've got to make sure they have profitability in a tough marketplace.
Yeah, there are just so many options. There's so many streaming services. You really kind of have to pare down which ones you want to keep. Let's change gears a little bit. Tesla investing $3.6 billion in a Nevada-based semi and battery plant, creating 3,000 new jobs. So is this signaling to shareholders that Elon is kind of turning his attention back to Tesla? Because they've been worried about that for quite a while.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Alex. Yes, there's been this contention that, of course, he was focusing on Twitter. And just to link a couple of stories here, going back to the Newsmax story, where we might have this inkling and instincts. And certainly, Chris Ruddy, the founder of Newsmax, has said that this is bias. Think about Elon Musk, Tesla. Yes, they need his attention because he's pointed out on Twitter that, of course, yes, there was a bias against conservatives. So he's been doing some great things, but not necessarily for all those Tesla shareholders. So you're absolutely right. This is showing that Elon Musk, incredible as it is, has his focus in many different industries. They're adding another, as you mentioned, I think it's 3,000 jobs. They already had 7,000 out there in Nevada. So they're really investing in Nevada. And this is for now electric semi-vehicles, trucks.
How about this? This is one of kind of the big stories that's going on right now. So following the Taylor Swift and Ticketmaster debacle back in mid-November, the Senate Judiciary Committee is now debating how to address the alleged monopoly that Ticketmaster has on the entertainment industry. Live Nation and Ticketmaster, so they merged back in 2010, and now they control 70% of that industry. Hillary, monopolies, they're not technically illegal in the United States. So what do you expect to happen here?
Well, you're right again. Monopolies are not illegal, but the issue here is the same issue with any monopoly. Do they participate in anti-competitive practices? Now, when they did actually go through this merger, when Live Nation and Ticketmaster merged, there was this consent decree. The consent decree basically stipulated that they should not participate in any anti-competitive activities. And that is the contention. And of course, when anything becomes highly public, like the Taylor Swift debacle that you mentioned back in, I believe it was January, that brings a lot of political pressure, and that brings a lot of eyeballs to an issue that was already brewing. And so when you saw people sobbing all over the internet about that debacle, that's what it's done. It's drawn attention to an issue that was already there. They've broken lots of the actual, basically provisions in that consent decree that was about the merger. So yes, a monopoly, but you have to behave properly if you have a monopoly. Like Google has a monopoly. Same issue actually with Google.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, Taylor Swift, she can certainly bring eyeballs to a situation, that's for sure. Hillary Fordwich.
People aren't sobbing over their search engine, though, are they? The same way.
Yes. Hillary Fordwich, thank you so much for coming on this morning, and thank you so much for your insight.
Pleasure, always.
Rob.
All right. Thank you, Alex. Good to see you. Hillary. Newsmax, as you know, the latest victim of this major political censorship happened at midnight last night. DirecTV's AT&T's DirecTV